Sinner and the Saint. I'm Melissa Bell.
And I'm Allison Kane.
So I learned a lesson. I learned a science lesson last weekend.
Huh.
I was making chicken pot pie.
Oh.
One of my son's favorites. And I'll make that for you, babe. And I was just really feeling, I don't ever feel like a homemaker. I don't ever feel like I'm like, oh, this feels so good. But it felt really good to be making that.
Oh.
And so I made him this pie. And normally when I have a glass pie dish. I put the pie dish in the oven. I normally put it on a metal pan because I'm like, that might be easier to get out of the oven because I'm old. Anyway, so this time I didn't.
Mine is about the mess. I always do it because if it overflows or bubbles over, it won't make my house smell smelly and stinky.
Yeah. Well, this time when I put the glass dish in, I thought, I never put it in without a pan. It'll be fine. And so the pie cooked. Everything was great. I went to go take the pie out of the oven, and I heard a little crackling noise, and I thought, that must be, like, maybe it's boiling. I don't know. Just maybe it's boiling really loud. Yeah. So I put the glass dish on the top of the stove, and I took 2 steps back, and the whole dish exploded.
Whoa.
Apparently, it is because the heat transfer, you need something, a thermal barrier between the hot pie glass and the
cool
cook stove.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not only was that a reminder that I slept through science class, but also that I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the kitchen.
Oh, so you didn't get to eat that pie.
And then I didn't get to eat the daggone. My son was like, oh, it smells so good. And I'm like, oh, spoiler alert.
So what you're saying is you need to move to a non-glass baking dish.
Or
maybe pottery.
Put the metal pan under it like you've done forever.
Yeah. Oh.
But I have to know the reason why I'm doing something.
Okay.
Give me the reason. I will. My husband said, well, hopefully you won't forget next time. I said, nope, the glass flying at me. Yeah. That was such a hands-on experience. And then the cleanup afterwards.
You'll never forget that. In fact, if there are any science teachers listening, if that's you should do that as an example in your classroom, and the kids would never forget themselves.
They would never forget.
It'd be so fun.
or can you imagine?
Or dangerous.
Yes.
Anyway, whatever. And probably not these days. They would have done it to us in the 80s, though.
Exactly.
Or the 90s. Yeah.
And not to mention, like, the mess and how long it took me to clean up those glass shards.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, very humbling.
It was humbling.
A little humble pie. Oh. No pun intended.
We didn't get to eat any pie.
Oh. Well, we are going to talk about humility today, actually.
I'm so excited. You told me last week I get to tell you the story of number 16.
Yeah.
Which you had forgotten, apparently.
Dude, yes. How?
You were like, what?
Wait, what? I know all the stories. I know about when yes, but what?
Yes.
The whole swallowing thing.
Right.
When you said that, I was like, what?
So, number 16, the Levites, who essentially work for the church. They're the church workers, if we're going to put it in today's terms.
Yeah, church workers. I like it.
They decide that they're going to rise up and rebel against Moses and Aaron, who are the holy priests.
I mean.
And, like, I'm going to give you the most, I don't know, worldly version coming from my terminology. So you might want to read your Bible.
The message on steroids.
Yes. So they're like, listen, what makes you so special? We work for the church. We're holy too. God can speak to us. And so, y'all, listen, if you don't know anything about Moses, he was so patient.
He sure was. And he'd pray for those people even after they did this stuff.
I would have.
Over and over again.
Constantly.
He was humble.
Like, if your kids are bad, okay, just thank God they're not like the Israelites. They can't be that bad. They were bad. Anyway.
I love it.
So, the Levites, they rebel. There's like someone that's leading the clan always, right? Someone that starts the rebellion. And
just like a good Star Wars movie.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Do you watch those?
I love Star Wars.
Oh no, I can't.
Oh, you sound like Matt. I grew up on Star Wars and 007.
My whole house did, but I wasn't doing it.
Oh.
And we also know I wasn't in the kitchen, so I was outside playing. Anyway, so Moses and Aaron, Moses like, okay, tomorrow morning, all of you are going to stand in front of your tents, and you're all going to stand before God, and God's going to let us know who is holy. Okay. You have to read the words for yourself because I'm a little vague on the facts. So then God comes down and he condemns the
Levites.
Yes, the Levites, and basically said, here are the holy ones, Moses and Aaron. Shocker. I said that last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably yesterday.
Yeah, we've already talked about this. And, oh, remember spiritual amnesia? You guys have it. But then the leaders that led the rebellion, God tells Moses, tell everyone to run away from them. And the ground literally opens up and swallows all of them. Their whole family, their cattle, their tent, sucked them right in.
Sinkhole, baby.
Yeah.
God's so creative.
But then the next day was 1641. The next day, they started grumbling again.
Again. I mean, can you imagine? You'd think it would take them at least a week.
Like, the debris still there. There might still be an arm sticking out of that little
You'd think they'd still be planning the funeral services.
Their kids are probably out there playing kickball on top of the ground.
Oh, the Bible is something else, y'all. I'm telling you, there's such good stories in there. You can't make them up. I mean, you just can't. Well, that definitely... I wasn't in Numbers when this theme of humility hit me. But, we've been talking so much about spiritual maturity. And I was in Mark 10, and Jesus is basically saying, he's talking to the disciples, and he says, but that is not the way it will be among you. Whoever would be great among you must serve and minister. Whoever wants to be great among you must be a slave of all. Even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to be a servant, to offer his life as a ransom for others. And it was like, serve, minister, slave, servant. And I was like, wow. I mean, that takes a lot of humility, to humble yourself in that way.
If you're a new Christian listening to this podcast, just skip to the next one. You'll get back to this in a couple of years.
Right. You're just so thankful now. You're like on the top of the mountain. It's all great. But what can happen along the way is we've talked a lot in the past about people that are hypocritical, people that are judgy.
Yeah.
We can, once you've been in the faith for a while, unfortunately, we can start to look down on other people. We can think that we're above a small group maybe, or we should only be a leader of a small group. We shouldn't just be a member of a small... it could go on and on.
Give me the microphone. I'm wiser than they are.
It can take different forms. It can sneak in there.
Those aren't the sneaky ones, right? The sneaky
Right.
ones. Oh, yeah.
So I was really thinking about this, and I was thinking, how do we stay humble when we are in these situations? Because when we're not humble in our faith, we are doing God a disservice. We're bringing nobody to Jesus.
It's bad for the brand, man.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's bad for the brand.
Bad for the brand.
Reel it in.
Yeah. So one, I think, is remembering who gave us insight is not us. We didn't get all this insight from ourselves. We're just not that smart.
We're not.
We're not.
It literally says God will open your eyes.
Yep.
Many people can read the Bible and it will never make sense to them because God has not given them that.
In 1 Corinthians 4:7, it says, what do you have that you didn't receive? I like that.
Sass.
Sass. A little sass. I don't even know if that's a Message translation. But all we have, insight included, is a gift from God. Okay, that's humbling. God, not an achievement. This gratitude for what we have, it guards our humility. Mm-hmm. Like, if we can just always remember what God gave up for us when we have done literally nothing and continue to do not very much and still mess up every day, nothing to deserve it.
Right.
But he gives it anyway. That's humbling.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've seen written, and I love it, it says, the bad news is, you can't do anything to earn the love of God.
Right.
The good news is, you don't have to do
anything
anything.
for the love of God.
You can't do anything that's going to make him love you more or love you less.
Right. And it's such a hard thing to comprehend, but
Especially with our little minds and our distorted view of love, right?
yes. Also, if we could just continue to see ourselves as learners and not teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Because we are never done learning, growing, messing up in this lifetime. We are not going to have it together and complete until we're in heaven.
The very few times that I felt like I had it all together didn't end well.
Girl, facts.
Nope. I will humbly go to the microphone. Crawling.
Yes.
I don't need to. Nope. I'll sit right here.
I don't even want to be at the microphone.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
It's very humbling.
Yeah.
I think if we can just keep that mindset, like we are learners as long as we're here. We're never going to get it figured out.
Right. And as soon as you think you have it figured out, then you can become stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's exactly right.
When you're stagnant, it's really easy to sit on a high horse that's not moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think also, speaking of that, being a teacher, if we let truth set the tone instead of love, I think that messes things up. Like, we really need to let love set the tone of what we do. Because, you know how the Bible says, truth without love, I mean, they got to go together.
Right.
And a lot of times, and I'm guilty of this, I'm just the facts, ma'am. This is just the truth.
Right.
But if you're not, like, if someone doesn't know you, if the people that know you will know your heart's intention, but not everyone knows me.
Right.
And I can talk to them as if they do know me. So some situations need a little more love.
Right.
And a little more balance of the two. And honestly, they all do. Even with those who do know, you know, the intention of our hearts.
Yeah, because we don't know where they are.
Yes.
In their spiritual journey, or that's such a ugh word. We don't know where they are in their relationship, right? And so we could just come across like, this is such great news. And we're so excited to share it with them. And it's a fact and it's truth. But if their heart's not ready to receive it, it can come across.
I mean, think about me when I was, like, last week we were talking about my week of complaining before I turned to lament. What if that day you had, instead of just listening and loving me and joining in for a minute and saying, that's really hard, you had just said, well, you know, really your complaining isn't doing you much good. You should really be praying about this.
That's right.
Bruh. You know, I'd be like, thanks.
She'd be like, Melissa, you should leave now.
Yeah, already knew that, not what I needed, right? So, but she approached it with love, not just the truth, because she knew, well, hopefully that I knew the truth and I'd get there.
Well, let me tell you something. If you're acting like that, I was like, oh, she's going to have to go through this one.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in the way. I'd never see this. Let her have it. Let her have her moment.
Let her have her moment. And honestly, because we're good friends, you hold me accountable. If you had come back this week and I would have been in the same spot, you'd been like, all right, girl.
Let's figure it out.
We're still here, so let's figure out what's going on. You would have taken it past the love into a little more balance of love and truth.
Right.
And then if I was still, then you would have just gone straight truth on me.
Next week I'd be like, all right, that's
it. You know.
Speaking of, you know, you might touch on this later, but the people we're around matter so much. If you look at the Levites, they all got themselves worked up and they were all feeding themselves the same garbage that made them toxic and revolt against Aaron and Moses.
Yeah.
Who we go to with our complaint lament matters.
Oh, yes, it does.
That can take you on the very wrong path for a very long time. Because oftentimes all we want to hear is, you are right. Mm-hmm. And so if someone says to me, you are right, but their life is not going in the direction my life needs to be going, next thing you know, I'm walking with them. We're just chatting.
Right.
And I wake up in 6 months and
you're sucked into
crap.
the vortex.
Yeah.
You know, that whole situation kind of reminds me of the Garden of Eden. You know, the disruptors, the head people, they just took a little truth and twisted it, right? Made it about them. And it was very selfish. And then Satan just used that. I mean, to just use that.
Right.
So interesting. Anyway, I think another thing is if we can just speak from our experience instead of our position that we might have or hold, or instead of starting with, what if we started with my experience has been this? Instead of coming from a place of authority where it's like, well, I do this for a living or I do that for a living. Just speak from experience. I loved this verse in Psalm 66. It said, come and hear, I will tell you all he has done for my soul.
I love that.
Those are the things that speak volumes. You don't have to, give a lecture. Just talk about your experience. I think that also helps us all feel qualified. You don't need a divinity degree or a whatever, to just share your experience.
Right.
With someone else, what God has done for your soul. And then just allowing space for God to do the convincing. Just offering what he's done in your life and then leave the rest to God.
Yep, not your job.
Yes.
Thank goodness we don't have to be the salvation police.
Golly, I have enough jobs.
I know.
I have enough. Remembering where we once were is so important. That reflection, I think that's another thing that journaling is good for.
I think also praying before you speak.
Oh, yes.
It sounds like right now we're talking about sitting with somebody specifically, right? I don't like to speak anything unless I'm cracking a joke before I pray. If I'm going to speak into something that they're talking about, God's going to give me the words because I don't want to be the one that puts a stumbling block there.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
I know. That's where the breath prayer comes in for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, not me, but you, God, not me, but you. Like, please, I have no idea.
Right.
Please take over use me, fill my mouth with your words and whatever this person needs, because I don't know. We don't know. And if we can approach the situation like that and allow God in, then there's going to be a lot better outcome.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember, like you were saying, you don't have to have a divinity degree. Your life experience is going to give you an empathy that not everybody has because they haven't been through the same thing you've been through.
That's the only degree you need.
Right. Life experience.
Yes, exactly. Your personal testimony, basically, your story and what God has done in your life. And just remembering the grace that we felt and that we've received from God, like when we first came to him, as we were joking about the new Christians who are on the mountaintop so happy. If we can remember that feeling, go back to that sense of freedom and forgiveness and grace and love, and then want to offer that to someone else, and being in a place of humility and a humble position to do that. I think we really need to resist comparison too. Woo, comparison. We've got a whole podcast on that.
Yeah.
Galatians 6:4 says, let each one test his own work. Faith is about relationship, not comparisons. And our compassion for other people really feeds our humility.
Yeah.
It's that compassion that we have that God has shown us that we remember so we can show to others, that creates humility in us and keeps that alive.
And I often feel like when I encounter a really hard situation, there's normally a lesson in there for me too.
Agreed.
If I can sit quietly and not be the lecturer and ask God to let me see them the way he wants me to see them, I'm the one that walks away going, wow.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
I mean, half the time we're in a situation where we can help someone else or do something, we leave feeling 100 times more blessed than we feel like we left the person we were supposed to be blessing. So that's humbling in itself, just to be able to recognize that, that God is that big and loves us that much. And I think Humility looks like, for me, when our words fall short, because often in life, really, when things happen, what good are words?
Right.
You know, it's just letting our lives and actions speak. And it turns it away from us and making it all about ourselves with our words to try to fix something. And it's just, let me love you. Let me, back to these verses, let me be a servant, a minister, a slave for you. And that's such a beautiful image. Like Matthew 5:16 says, let your light shine before others. And it's that consistent grace and love that speaks louder than any of our explanations and declarations. So I think in a nutshell, humility, it's just, if we adopt Jesus's posture, like he says in Matthew 11:29, I am gentle and lowly in heart. Just meeting people where they are without expectations, like getting in the way and expecting them to ask us, or asking questions and listening instead of talking, keeping it focused on them instead of ourselves, and then just walking with them patiently instead of trying to force what God is doing.
I've had to go back and apologize because, you know, when you've walked through it, if you are walking with someone through something you've already done, you know how good the other side is.
Yes.
And so you're just like,
you really want them to be able to skip.
You're like, hop on my back. I'm going to run down the street with you. It's going to be fine.
We're going to click fast forward. It's all going to be good. I'm going to save you from this.
Yes.
But then they're missing all of the incredible lessons and growth and connection to God that we gained.
Right.
But it's still so hard.
Yeah, they get like a little contact buzz from our excitement, but then they...
Yes. I love it.
I love that you brought up Matthew 5. Was it 16?
Probably.
So I have the
Yes,
Message
5:16.
Translation version on my phone, and I read it all the time. I'm going to just sum it up, but it's Matthew 5:14 through 16, the Message Translation. I'm going to hit some highlights. It says, you're here to be the light, bringing out the God colors in the world.
Love this.
If I make you light bearers, don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket. I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, our generous Father in heaven. And that, to me, is humility.
Oh, yeah.
Keep open house. Be generous with your lives.
So true.
Boy, don't deep dive on be generous with your lives.
I mean, our depth of faith is not proven by how much we know or explain to other people. It is how faithfully we love other people in humility. Yeah. So that's a big project for this week.
Yeah.
Staying humble. But I feel like if we go back to some of these things that we've talked about daily, remembering where we came from, remembering who our insight and wisdom comes from, our strength, all of our blessings, it goes back to that gratitude and recognition that helps keep us there in that state of humility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, who knows what we're getting into next week, so you're going to want to check in. But thanks for joining us this week on The Sinner and the Saint.